Welcome back to another message crawler update. Today I'm going to show you how to tag documents based on senders' names. Let's go to my screen and I'm going to show you how to do that. Alright, so I have some data loaded here. This is a public data set provided by NIST, so it contains lots of different names that look very real, which I don't know if they are or not, but let's pretend that we have a situation where we need to only identify documents by specific people. I'm going to go to search menu here and I'm going to say create search from names. What this will do is it's going to show me all the names that are present in my database, and it's going to show me only the unique instances of that name. What I can do is I can select a couple of names and say, okay, where do I want to search? Am I interested in from or conversation participants or any other fields? Now, normally just conversation participants is enough because all these names will show up in conversation participants. However, if you were manipulating data in some other way, or if you were loading like PSTs or something like that, maybe you will have a different situation. Now, we're going to select names we're interested in, what fields we want to search in, and now we're going to say, do we want to save this as a search or put it in the search bar? So I'll explain what that is. First, let's make a search. And I'm going to say this is names search. All right, as simple as that. And hit save. Now, if I go to searches here, this is the search. It was created. Now, if I open it, our search condition was generated for us right here. So we don't have to go in here and sort of add them and do ands and ors and all that fun stuff. That's basically the easy button for generating this complicated search condition. And of course, if we run that search, we are going to get these documents. So that's how searching works. And now we can, of course, go to a job and then use that search as a source for the job and export our SMF or whatever it is we need to do it. But there are other ways we can do this. We can also save to search bar, and we can say, let's call it differently. We'll call this important names, right? So let's say we have a case and we have multiple devices, multiple phones, whatever. And these are the names of people that we're interested in. So we can say these are the important names, and we're going to save it to a search bar. What will happen now is when you create a new search, we're going to have these important names here. Now, if you are just to run this, we're going to get same results. However, what we can do now is, let's actually uncheck it and check this, say clear, and then we're going to refresh all that. Now we can do this. Let's say we're interested in important names only from Facebook. I don't know if they're going to be on Facebook, and we can run a search. So they're not on Facebook, or we can do like something like that. All right, okay, so there we go. We got something. Let's say we add more data to the collection. Now we can reuse our name search to only find data for the newly loaded data. So this way we can say, let's say source container name or something like that. So as we add additional data, we don't have to create that search for names. We can just select it on the search bar and reuse it. And this will eliminate any kind of mistakes in, clicking, checking, or something like that. Now, when you do add new data, it is a good idea to come back here and make sure there are no other name variations that were generated. And there are also aliases that could have been used, but we get into a whole different side of kind of investigating your data. For simple projects where you know the names, you can save those names here into a search bar, and then you can reuse that search. You can also do same thing with date ranges. So you can have two searches. One will have all the names, the other one will have dates. And then as you add new data, you can just reuse it from a search bar here. Of course, you can use a regular search, right? You can save it and then just reuse it over and over. But this way, it's just nice to have a saved condition that is docked to the side, where you can just say, okay, give me the names, bam, there you go. And now you can save this search and use that in your export or whatever the next step you're going to be doing. The last thing I wanted to talk about is this use names instead of IDs. This deals with how search happens on the back end. And for conversation participants, they are stored as basically strings as opposed to from. Kind of technical explanation, doesn't really matter. Using IDs is generally better. The issue happens is when people start going with these crazy characters. Like, these are normal, but sometimes you get like really extended Unicode characters that just get really wild. And I had situation where name searches were getting a little bit confused, and I think it's because how database encodes those names. So I had some weird situations where I was just using names, and then there were two names with extended characters, and they would treat it as the same name. So I had over-inclusive searches. Generally speaking, using names or IDs doesn't matter. You can leave it as IDs, and that is fine. And where I'm talking about IDs is right here. So this will show you what the IDs of those people are and what other IDs are. This is the column right here, OID, that is a number for every entry in document contacts. So your workflow is pretty simple. If you're looking for specific participants, you go to search, you select the names you're interested in, you create a search. This will include, if you select conversation participants, it will include entire conversation, and from there you just go right to export and you're done. We do have some search in here, so if you type, John, you can tag him, and then you can I don't know, do a different search and you can find somebody else, and so on. So you can do very quick searches. So that's kind of an overview of what you would do if you have a data set and you need to find specific participants and export out only that data. Thank you for checking out this message crawler update. I will see you on another.